Yep, I'm a freaking liar, guys. I said I was going to do an instant reaction video to Cory Sandhagen versus Chito Vera, and I didn't do it. I was busy that night. Also watching Plant versus Benavidez. And on Sundays, I don't record videos. So, now I'm going to react late as hell and give y'all all my takes on both Sandhagen versus Vera and Plant Benavidez. So, let's start with the UFC. Cory Sandhagen, by decision, was my prediction in my prediction video, and I'm on a roll right now. That's my second straight main event. Getting it right. And the exact method, too. Like, I'm really the greatest of all time, I must be. But, yeah, guys. Actually, didn't I have Merab by decision as well? Yeah, I'm 3 straight methods and winners. That's pretty crazy. Use promo code mybook. No, I'm just kidding. But, alright, guys. So, basically, the fight occurred the way I thought for the most part. Cory Sandhagen was able to outpoint Chito Vera and avoid the big shots. But the reason why he was able to avoid the big shots was highly, highly impressive. Basically, what Sandhagen did was he wrestled early. He was shooting shots early. Doesn't necessarily even need to get Chito Vera down. He just needs to make Chito Vera aware of the wrestling and a little bit hesitant to commit to in-the-pocket exchanges. And then Cory was able to start letting his hands go, letting his kicks go, tagging Vera with some nice shots. And then he took a 3-round lead, in my opinion, going into the 4th round. And then when Chito usually turns it on and starts landing and really becoming aggressive after he gets his reads, this is where people mess up when they fight Chito. They allow him to get these reads, and then once he has their timing, understands what they're trying to do, and understands where his openings are, he's able to unleash bombs on them. Cory came out in the 4th and 5th round and switched back to the wrestling. And Chito Vera was never able to really get a sense of exactly what Cory Sandhagen was going to do. Cory Sandhagen fought a beautiful, brilliant fight. Like, the fight IQ in that fight was amazing by Cory Sandhagen. Chito Vera was just unsure of what was coming next, from my perspective. As soon as I saw Cory Sandhagen start shooting for legs in the 4th round, I was like, this is brilliant. Because now Chito's like, what the hell? This is where I usually am able to let go. And now I'm still unsure of what this guy's going to do. And that seems to be a recurring pattern in fights involving Cory Sandhagen. The opponents are almost at a standstill because they're unsure of what he's going to do. He's a very impressive fighter. He has good wrestling. He has unreal striking with unreal footwork. The way he switches stances so fluently is ridiculous. He's highly impressive. He's my favorite bantamweight. He has been for a while now. I try not to involve my bias when I predict fights. That's why I wasn't like rooting for him heavy. But yeah, guys, I was definitely rooting for him on the night, and he delivered. He had a brilliant performance. A couple other things that happened on the card. Holly Holm was wrestling Yana Kunitskaya, because Yana was really not letting any space be had, so Holly just dominated her in what she wanted to do, which was brilliant. The wife of the dumbest, most racist piece of crap on the roster lost to Macy Barber in a very questionable decision. I might have given it to Andrea I Sleep With My Cousins Lee, but Macy Barber won, and it helped my parlay, so I liked it. Yeah, so Nate Landwehr had a good fight. I can't remember exactly everything, but yeah, that's basically the rundown on the main event. I think from here, Cory calling out Merab, I do think that he's going to be able to get that matchup, considering that there's not a bantamweight fight for the title until May, and then, there's always time after the fight. It's going to be plenty of time for him and Merab to match up. Cory's got balls for calling him out, balls of steel. Normally, everybody's trying to avoid him. Cory Sandhagen is so honorable. He even said, I don't think at this stage right now I deserve the shot over Merab, and I think Merab's the best bantamweight in the world, which he is. So I want to fight him, and that's so admirable. Those are the type of fighters that become my favorite fighters. The fighters that are just real and not scared of taking an L to elevate themselves. Like the risk to reward factor, guys. They don't care. They put it all on the line. Chito Vera from here, he will be absolutely fine. He's still a murderer. He's still a nightmare. He has plenty of hype around his name. He's a very popular fighter for his fight style and, the ordeal with Sean O'Malley. And he's gotten some brilliant finishes over the last 2 years. So Chito Vera will be just fine. It's MMA. Everybody loses. I would like to see Chito match up with Petr Yan now. Let's see that shell versus shell. Let's see the early slow rounds versus the early slow rounds. Picking up reads versus picking up reads. It's almost a mirror match. I would love to see that fight. They're both dogs, and I know they're both... That's a recipe for a fight. Because, Sandhagen is okay playing the outside. Sandhagen is okay playing the distance game and poking at you. Those guys both come to take your head off. And I want to see that over 5 rounds. Who's going to get finished? Because they're both guys who can finish you, and neither of them get finished. So it's who knows? But, yeah, book that fight. Let's see it. Let's see who can get back on the right track. But as far as Plant Benavidez goes... I think Caleb Plant did a lot of what he did against Canelo Alvarez is he used his elite level footwork and head movement to dance around and kind of make Benavidez miss in the first couple rounds. I think Caleb Plant started off with a big lead in the fight. I had him winning 4 of the first 6 rounds. He had Benavidez looking a little frustrated. But Benavidez is relentless, man. Relentless. Constantly just walking Caleb Plant down. Constantly. And he knew eventually Caleb Plant would tire, and he was chipping away at Caleb Plant's body a little bit too. Caleb was doing the same thing to him, but you could really tell that Caleb got exhausted from just being walked down all night, and eventually he was immobilized by exhaustion. And David Benavidez was able to start teeing off on him with some good combinations, had him hurt multiple times, and literally took over the entire second half of the fight. The momentum was here for Caleb Plant, and then by the time the middle of the fight came, it just started going zoom, 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 and we finished here with David Benavidez. I scored at 116, 113 Benavidez. I thought that Caleb Plant looked good, but it's just, is it a sustainable style to fight these guys for over 12 rounds? And I'm talking, when I say these guys, I mean Benavidez and Canelo. 2 power punchers who are relentless. I don't think so. I don't think it's sustainable, and I don't think Caleb's going to find success in 12-round fights fighting guys like that with that current style. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of 12-round fights in boxing and 5-round fights in MMA. Because, a 3-round MMA fight does not do justice to who is the best fighter. Obviously, there's run times on these cards, and, 5 rounds, you cause a little bit more damage, significantly more damage, I should say. But here's the thing. I'm of the belief that, in the UFC, for instance, I think every fight involving a ranked fighter should be 5 rounds. Because you don't find these things out. If Caleb Plant, David Benavidez was a 6-round fight, Caleb Plant would have won. And Caleb Plant clearly was proven by the end of the night to not be the better fighter. And I'm a huge Caleb Plant fan. So I'm just being real. But if the fight was 6 rounds, he would have won the fight. If the fight was 7 rounds, he would have won the fight. If the fight was 8 rounds, it would have been a draw. But the 12 rounds shows you truly who is the better fighter. The more conditioned fighter, the more composed fighter, the smarter fighter. These things all come into play in the championship rounds. Same thing in MMA. Like, if you're a ranked fighter fighting in the UFC, you should be fighting 5 rounds every fight, I think. Like, every fight involving a ranked fighter. Because then we find out who's the best. Like, even in the Sean O'Malley-Petr Yan fight, what would have happened if it was rounds 4 and 5? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying Sean would have lost, but I'm saying he might have lost. He looked mighty tired, so did Petr Yan. We would have found out who the better guy was. And in a lot of instances in 3-round fights, it's like, ugh. Like, I think every fight involving a ranked fighter should just be 5 rounds. But that's my take, guys. Those were 2 excellent fights on Saturday. Looking ahead, I can't wait to see what we have in store. Catch me more videos coming this week. Hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Make sure you hit it. And I was going to say hit it twice, but then you'll unsubscribe, and we don't want that. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like. Leave a comment down below. Tell me why in the world you think that was a split decision, because I didn't even get into that out of just pure frustration for the judges. But why did you think Sandhagen-Vera was a split decision on one card? They had Vera winning, and it was just unbelievable. Tell me what you thought of Benavidez' plan if you're a fan of boxing. And yeah, if you're a fan of influencer boxing, just know I got some videos coming this week. Love y'all. See y'all later.